Unlock the door to mystery with one very short story. The Micro Podcast filled with morally complex characters, twists you won't predict, and endings you won't forget. Every episode is a brief, intense journey, perfect for listeners who crave mystery, intrigue, and stories that leave you thinking long after the tale ends. Today's episode begins now. Today's episode, The Monster in the Storm, begins after this special message. A man wakes in a sterile hotel room, his past scrubbed clean, his identity fractured. On his wrist, a barcode. In his hand, a letter written in his own handwriting, warning him not to investigate the echoes of a life he's forbidden to remember. His name is Silas, or maybe it isn't. Each assignment erases more of who he was. Each pill he swallows keeps him obedient. But when fragments of love, loss, and betrayal begin to surface, Silas discovers a truth more dangerous than any target he's ever been sent to kill. Someone wants his memory buried. Someone else wants it restored. And every hour he hesitates, he edges closer to becoming his own executioner. The Lethean by J.L. Stroud Jr. is a psychological thriller, laced with rain-slicked streets, haunting echoes of the past, and a protagonist who may be both assassin and victim, hunter and hunted. For readers who love the paranoia of Robert Ludlum, the atmosphere of Philip K. Dick, and the relentless pacing of Lee Child, this is a mystery that asks one impossible question. If you can't trust your own mind, who can you trust? Download the ebook, The Lethean, and other books by J.L. Stroud Jr. at jlstroudjr.com. Link in the podcast description. And now today's episode, The Monster in the Storm. The sky over Lake Okeechobee was the color of a fresh bruise, a sickly, beautiful tapestry of purple, green, and charcoal gray. Most people see a storm like that and run. They see chaos. I see clarity. My name is Jake, and I chase these monsters for a living. The roar of the wind, the percussive drumming of hail on the roof of my truck, it's a symphony to me. It's where the world, for all its messy complications, finally makes a brutal kind of sense. This one was a beast, a classic Florida supercell, pregnant with tornadic potential. The National Weather Service had been screaming about it for an hour. Evacuation orders were in full effect. And yet, as I navigated the back roads, my eyes on the churning wall cloud, I saw something that didn't fit the score. A convoy of 3 plain white commercial vans moving with a disciplined, unnatural precision against the flow of evacuating traffic. No logos, no frantic urgency. Just a steady, deliberate pace toward the heart of the chaos. I remember thinking it was odd. Maybe a corporate fleet with a rigid, pre-planned evacuation route. I filed it away in the back of my mind, a stray note in an otherwise perfect symphony of destruction. Back in the stale, air-conditioned quiet of my motel room, the storm a departing rumble on the horizon, I replayed the day. The clicks of my laptop trackpad were the only sounds as I reviewed my dashcam footage. The news was already chattering about opportunistic looting in the evacuated town of Belle Glade. But the vans I'd seen weren't heading for the residential areas. Their trajectory was a clean line toward the town's small, wealthy jewelry district. The official story felt thin, a flimsy narrative stretched over something more substantial. I'm a scientist at heart. I live by data, by patterns. This pattern felt wrong. I called my sister, Sarah. She's a sheriff's deputy in the next county over, a woman who sees the world in black and white, good guys and bad guys. I told her what I saw. She sighed, the sound tinny and distant over the phone. Looters are roaches, Jake. They're everywhere after a storm. You're seeing patterns that aren't there. Stick to your clouds. Her skepticism was a cold splash of water. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was just a guy who spent too much time alone, staring into the abyss. But the image of those vans, their calm defiance of the storm, it was a splinter in my mind. I couldn't let it go. A week later, a new warning bloomed on the radar. Another supercell, this one bearing down on a small coastal town called Cedar Key. This time I didn't chase the Hook Echo. I chased a hunch. I found a high-risk back road, a place no sane person would be, and I waited. The sky turned that familiar, nauseating green, and then I saw them. The same 3 white vans, staged and waiting on a deserted access road. My heart hammered against my ribs. This was no coincidence. This was a coordinated operation. I raised my camera, the lens a long, dark accusation, and managed to capture a partial license plate before the deluge hit, washing the world away in a torrent of wind and rain. I called Sarah again. This time I didn't ask for her opinion. I asked for a favor. Run the partial plate. She sighed, but she did it. Family is family, even when your brother is chasing conspiracy theories in the rain. The plate came back registered to a commercial fleet management company. Thousands of vehicles. Generic white vans rented out to contractors, delivery services, you name it. See? She said. Could be anyone. This proves nothing. Let it go, Jake. But I couldn't. The real clue, the one that would change everything, was buried in the data. I pulled up the radar scans from both storms, side by side, and there it was. A faint, anomalous artifact. A ghost echo that appeared on the Doppler radar just moments before the National Weather Service issued the official tornado warning. It was a smudge on the lens, a perfect artificial smudge that didn't belong. I needed another set of eyes, someone who knew the system better than I did. I knew who I had to call. Dr. Ava Rostova, my former mentor at the National Weather Service, a legend in the field, a brilliant, bitter woman who had been pushed into early retirement. I sent her the data, the ghost echoes, the whole damn puzzle. She was intrigued, but her voice on the phone was a smooth, authoritative baritone, the sound of institutional credibility. Be careful, Jake, she'd warned, a hint of condescension in her tone. Questioning the integrity of the federal warning system is a good way to end a career. The next morning, my motel room was a wreck. Not a violent wreck, but a neat, professional one. My expensive camera gear was untouched, but my laptop, the one with all the saved radar data, was gone. The message was as clear as a cloudless sky. They weren't common thieves. They knew what I was looking for, and they were telling me to stop. Then, Eva called back. Her voice was urgent, conspiratorial. She'd found it, she said, a rare atmospheric ducting phenomenon that could explain the ghost echoes. She'd even run a model, predicted the next perfect storm for a heist. An isolated coastal town called Apalachicola. She was feeding me the location of the next robbery, gift-wrapped. She was my ally, the only one I had. I drove into Apalachicola as the sirens began their mournful wail. The official warnings were screaming, a digital chorus of impending doom. I saw the vans, the same crew, moving with their practiced efficiency. But as I stepped out of my truck, the air felt wrong. The barometric pressure wasn't dropping fast enough. The wind shear was mediocre. This wasn't a tornado-producing storm. It was just a nasty squall line. The warning, the entire terrifying spectacle, was a lie. I crept through a grove of mangroves, the wet leaves slapping against my face, and raised a directional microphone. I picked up their radio chatter, the clipped professional voices of the crew, and then I heard it. A voice on the other end, giving calm, precise instructions. A voice I knew as well as my own, the smooth, authoritative baritone of Dr. Eva Rostova. The recognition was a physical blow. My mentor, the woman who had taught me everything I knew about the sky. She was the monster in the storm. She was orchestrating the entire heist remotely. I was spotted. A frantic chase erupted, not against nature, but against the white vans on the flooded, debris-strewn roads. I had the audio of Ava's commands on my phone, a tiny digital recording that was the only proof of my insane discovery. They were boxing me in, cutting off every escape route. I was out of time, out of road, and out of options. No cell service, no way to call for help. But I had my truck, and my truck had a powerful radio transmitter. I couldn't call out, but I could broadcast. I rerouted the transmitter, my fingers flying across the console, and sent out a fake tornado emergency alert on a frequency I knew every chaser in the state monitored. But I embedded something extra in the signal, the recording of Ava's voice. The familiar, chilling tone of an emergency alert system broadcast, suddenly interrupted by the calm, criminal instructions of a respected meteorologist. It was a weaponized signal, a ghost of my own making. Within minutes, they came. A dozen chaser vehicles, drawn by my alert, swarming the area like angry hornets. Their dash cams, always rolling, captured everything. The white vans, the panicked crew, the whole illegal orchestra. They blocked the roads, a chaotic, righteous citizen's arrest, until the official police, drawn by the sheer pandemonium, finally arrived. Ava was arrested. Her face was on every news channel, the brilliant meteorologist who had weaponized the weather. In the chaser world, I was a hero, but I had lost my faith. The sky, my sanctuary, now felt compromised. The data, my gospel, now felt like a lie. Weeks later, I was tracking a new system, a garden-variety thunderstorm over the Gulf, and then I saw it. A tiny, fleeting ghost echo on the radar, a glitch. It had to be a glitch. But the doubt was a cold knot in my stomach. Was Ava working alone? Or was there another monster in the storm, waiting for the right moment to emerge? Thanks for listening to One Very Short Story. If today's story hooked you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us grow and keeps the suspense coming your way. Want to dive deeper? Check out the podcast description to learn more about the show and explore special offers from our sponsor. Until next time, keep dodging bullets and stay safe in the shadows.